Well, hello, this is Peter Combs from Bidamount.com and P.O. Combs Asian Art, located here in Gloucester, Massachusetts. And today is July 20th, 2018. And as always, we'll take a look back at last week's eBay auction results and some of the results over at Catawiki, which many of you know we added to the site recently because they seem very interested in getting into the Asian art world. And this is last week's newsletter. And many of you have commented to me and sent me a couple of notes that you like the added pages. Page 1 now contains just the featured items and the things closing in the next 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. And then page 2 covers the rest of the week. Page 3 is for Catawiki, and page 4 are the buy it now items. And from the tracking we're seeing on the website, quite a few people are checking those out. I hope you do, because there's from time to time some pretty good deals on there. But for right off the bat, let's take a look and see how things went on eBay last week. Last week was a very good week for shopping on eBay, as I think a lot of people are away. Maybe the World Cup soccer impacted people's collecting habits a little bit. But at any rate, here we are. And we'll start with this. This was something that Juice1499 had up. Josh Chamberlain. This was a nice buy, actually. There was a collection of 5 late Ming Wan Li covered boxes. You've all seen these before, but this was a nice little batch, and all 5 of them only went for $410. That's a pretty good buy for these. For those of you who follow them, often you'll see just one of them will bring, 2, maybe 250. So that was a good buy, and there were more of them coming up. When do you see the other things? All right, there were these. This was we put up a few links to these. We put up quite a few of them. Are these pith paintings? These 19th century Chinese export pith paintings. And they're in fairly well-known patterns. These were flowers and insects mostly, and a few of them with birds. These were produced in albums, usually of a dozen to 20 pages, and they were sold at in the Hongs of China, in Canton in particular. And most of them were done in the mid to second half of the 19th century, except for there were some really fine ones done before that. But these were good ones. These were of good commercial quality, and they went pretty reasonably, somewhere between 130 down to, I think there was a couple that brought well under 100. Yeah, 93, 85, 66, and so forth. All right, and these are made from pith, and they are very reasonable compared to what they were 20 years ago. They used to be worth $300, $400, $500 a piece, and these are all framed. And then on to this. This was that nice piece of Shibayama. It was being sold by a dealer here in the U.S. It did have ivory on it, which are these side panels, as you know. So I suspect there wasn't a lot of competition from abroad on them. eBay didn't kick them off the site. There were some losses in the mother of pearl. Good restorer can fix those there. The bird is missing and so forth. But the metalwork on this was quite good, and it was enameled as well on silver. Needed probably a cleaning, and it was good size. It was over 9 inches tall, and ended up selling for $1,580, which was a pretty good price today. Back in the 90s, when the Japanese stuff was really raging, these would routinely sell for $4,500 to $7,000. So the prices have really softened up on those. And then there was this, the Blanc de Chine Guan Yin from the seller out in Illinois at Asian Art. This was a nice one, seated figure holding a lotus pod, but beautifully done. Very nice 19th century example. There's the bottom of it. Looks just the way you want them to look. And it did very well. It brought $6,611. But as I said before, Blanc de Chine is getting some traction more than it did a few years ago in the market. The Blanc de Chine pieces are starting to sell for pretty good money, even late 19th and early 20th century ones, if the quality is good. The workers in Dewa still, at that time, were still making very good things. And then there was this, the transitional period to early Kangxi slab construction gin bottle. These were made for export. I think the mouth on this was, the neck on it was probably repaired or heavily restored, which is fairly common on these bottles. A lot of them had chipped and broken necks because they were used so heavily. But this one was beautifully painted, and it did pretty well. It brought $1,092. That's not an overpayment for one of these. If the neck was, the mouth of the neck of the vase was complete and completely original, they can bring maybe another $700 or $800 at auction. But this was a pretty good one. It had nice color. All right, and then there were the double pair of bowls from the Diana Cargo. These were nice looking. We looked at them last week when we put them up, and they were at around $500 as I recall, and they did just fine at the end. They jumped up and doubled at the end, $1,003. All right, but they're very collectible. These deer pattern plates, people love them, really do. And onto this, the big Fitzhugh Platter. Well, that's not an enormous Fitzhugh, but it's a good size. It's 13 inches by 10, roughly. Beautifully painted. This was a rather high-quality piece with a Nanking border on it. Very nicely done all the way around. Here's the back of it. That's what they look like, just flat and unglazed with a little bit of kiln grit around the edges. You can see the trimming marks across the back where they scraped it. And this was a nice plate, and it was in good condition, from what I recall. And it went very reasonably, just $203. If you really like fine quality painted 18th century blue and white, you can pick these up now at pretty much bargain prices if you're a collector. It's a wonderful opportunity. This particular plate was probably made around 1780 or 90, somewhere in there. Okay. And then there was this, the reticulated chrysanthemum Chinese export dish or bowl. Very good quality, nicely polished on the inside. The relief chasing and all this around the edges were very, very good. It was marked right there. And here's another shot of it. And it did pretty well, but I don't think it was by any measure overpayment for the thing. This was from a seller here in Worcester, Massachusetts. It went for $371. That was a pretty good buy, because in the past, Nanking Silver Company pieces that was made around 1890, like this, can sell for $400 to $600 or more. All right, but that was a nice piece. And then this, the Kangxi bowl with the horses on it. If you like, everyone knows I like horses. This was a nice one. There's the interior of it. Little wear, little glaze losses here and there. Here's a picture of the foot rim, pretty typical. And there are the horses. There's a group, I think there were 8 horses on this, all in different positions. Some of them had really great facial expressions, like this one. He's rolling and playing, and he's got sort of a smile going underneath some pine trees. Very, very standard looking layout, so to speak. And it went for $891, which I think was a nice price. I particularly like the way the glaze pulled up down here on the foot rim, right as it flowed down. Nicely done. But it did have that good anwa decoration, and that makes a difference. All right. And then over to this. I had mentioned this last week because I thought this was an above par example of Celadon Famille Rose from the mid-19th century. And I particularly liked the cartouche in the center with the figures in it here. The quality of the decoration was very good for these, because a lot of the Celadon pieces weren't that well decorated compared to the white porcelains. And this one did just fine. Here's another shot of it. It ended up going for $614, which is pretty good. Pretty good price, okay? But it was a pretty piece of porcelain. And then this nice Kangxi shaped rim plate or shallow bowl with these cartouche cavetto running around the outside, sort of mirroring the central scene of flowers and butterflies and insects. The top one has a bird on it, and there's another bird here. There's a couple of birds, but beautifully done. And it went for a fairly reasonable price. This would have been a nice buy if you're a Kangxi collector. It went for $351. It's not a crazy price. It was around, as I recall, about 8 or 9 inches in diameter. Here's some more shots of it. Here you go. And move on to the next piece. Oh, this was nice. This was a pretty good, this was a very good buy for someone. It was a 17.5, almost 18-inch tall, mid-19th century Femi Rose Mandarin vase. It had this good gilt ground Greek key border running, framing the panel, and then these very nice, peacocks or pheasants and insects with flowers within light blue outlined cartouches. Here's a closer shot of it. It's good quality decoration, not the absolute best, but good quality. And it ended up going pretty reasonably, $637, okay? That's not a bad price for one of these. It's a nice vase, and it's good size. Anything over, 14, 15 inches, you're getting into, fairly desirable class of vases as far as size go. And of course, it increases as you get up higher and higher. And then there was this. This was a sort of a curious roundel of a dragon on gold thread. It seemed to have, for some reason, 2-clawed dragons. I think there were maybe 3 or 4-clawed, but this implies in the picture that they may have been buried behind these rue head shaped clouds. And it was a nice piece of high quality silk nonetheless, and it did very well. It brought $1,485. I think a lot of people liked that, and the price was reflected in the end. Probably came off the back of a robe. And then on to this. This was our friend Will Martindale's vase over in the UK. This was a nice garlic mouth, late Ming, early Qing vase with these fu lines on the neck. And in pretty good shape all the way around. There was a little dent here on the side, which didn't seem to amount to much, and there's the bottom. A little roughness on the foot. But in the end, it did pretty well. I think, though, it went for less than I thought it would. I thought this would bring probably 800 or 900, maybe 1,000, and it went for just a hair under 700. All right, so it was a little on the soft side, so it made it a pretty good buy for someone. All right, it was a nice-looking bronze overall. All right, and then there was this. This is curious. This was a plate that was on eBay. Very nice 18th century dish, beautifully done. Here's a picture of the foot rim on it. There you go, Kangxi example. Nice looking thing, and it went for $162. And at the same time, a virtually identical plate was on Catawiki, and here's the Catawiki plate. Okay, it closed. There it is, and as you can see, they are definitely kissing cousins with the basket in the center and the same or very similar type of floral and greenery rim on them. And this one went for $163. So that'll tell you that the stuff on Catawiki is bringing about the same money, very close, $162.50 as opposed to $163. Okay. All right, and now on to this. This was a piece that our friend Josh at Chamberlain Antiques, Juice 1499, had up. It was a nice Kangxi plate. Had a few minor firing flaws, had a little firing flaw here and there, but overall a well-known Kangxi pattern with these profusions of flowers and whatnot. And it did pretty well. It brought $787, okay? That was a nice plate. So overall, last week was a pretty good week. I thought the prices were sort of favorable. People are away on vacation right now and that kind of thing. And now we're going to take a look over and see some of the things that are coming up this coming week. All right. These are on eBay right now. Atelier, our friend over in the Netherlands, has these up. A nice pair of sort of bladder-formed flared mouth Famille Rose vases. He dates them as circa 1900, and the decoration looks awfully good. They may be a little older than that, but they're good quality. They have a couple of minor little repairs up here, but it's a pair, and these are sort of unusual forms for these. This is more of a Qinlong form, but nice quality. And they're up to $27 US, 21 Great British pounds. Atelier 2B has these up. He's in Holland, and he gets good things. And we'll see how they do. Those are nice. Those are pretty. And then there's this. This is that Femiver, probably Kangxi lantern. This is a pretty unusual form and very well done. Here's the top of it. I think it's missing its top, but a very unusual form. Has a couple of, as you can see, chips out of the foot rim and so forth, but pretty typical. Here's some more of it here. And right now it's up to just $40.31, and it closes on Monday. All right, and that'll be in the newsletter. That's a nice thing if you like sort of fun oddball Kangxi pieces. All right, and then this is something that Qing period has up. It's a very, very pretty 18th century bowl. Jiajing Marken period. There he goes. I trust him on that. I thought it was probably 18th century because of the coloration, but if the foot looks good. Yeah, okay. Jiajing Marken, late Ming. Okay, not Kangxi, but late Ming. But a very pretty bowl, and it's right now it's up to $670. He's got a reserve on it. I suspect it should sell for $1,500 to $2,000, somewhere in there. I would guess that's probably above the reserve, I would hope. And then on to this. This is a very nice teapot that's been put up by this Malaysian seller that we were pointed to by a friend of ours in Malaysia. He's a very big collector out there, and he knows this fellow, and says that he's putting these Noya Straits pieces on. He's had some great ones. This is the same seller that had the fabulous little pink Noya Straits spoon a couple of weeks ago that went for $800, and he has nice things. This little teapot's up to $1,225. And the seller is Abundance Palace, okay? He doesn't have many feedbacks. He's new. But he seems to have, from what I understand, a very good collection that he's going to be selling. And we'll see. He's only got 10 feedbacks, but we'll see what happens, okay? And now let's mosey on over to see what happened with the Catawiki stuff, because there's been a lot of interest in it, the things that are coming up. This is a page of things that are closing soon. There's around... well, all told, 60, 30 more, and then 78. So there's a couple of hundred lots on here, 200, 250 lots. They do not have the high numbers. They certainly don't have the 700,000 items that you have to wade through on eBay. But when you go to their page, you tend to find things that are worth looking at without driving yourself crazy. And we will be posting a lot of them on the site, the ones that we in particular like, that look like they might appeal to our readers. But their prices have been pretty good, I have to say. And we have kept the sold items on their page that we'll keep updating it each week so you can see what things bring. All right. And this was a very nice little early cup and saucer with this crane on it that was on there last week. And it sold, and it brought $60. I'm going to point out some of the things I thought were particularly good buys. And I thought that was a very good one. Probably Kangxi, and quite unusual. And here's the saucer on that. Very nice pattern. I liked it a lot. Very simple. And for $60, okay? And the shipping isn't all that horrible. It's like $50 to get it over here from the UK. So, from the Netherlands. So this was in Germany. So for $100, you get a very interesting cup and saucer. And then there was another Kangxi plate. This is a molded Kangxi plate in cobalt blue. Good deep cobalt blue on it, really dark. And it has these sort of bud form devices in the cavettos filled with flowers, and then a shaped rim. Very nice. And it went for $104, okay? All right, that was also a rather good buy, and its shipping cost on this was very reasonable, $30, $35 from the Netherlands. All right, not bad at all. And then these pair of Clampetts bowls. These were 19th century ones, but they were a pair, which makes them sort of interesting. And they ended up selling for $145. Not bad, okay? And then on to this one. I think this is an active listing right now. This is a nice silver wire inlaid vase, late 19th century Chinese, but good quality and a very warm patina, and I like that. And that's up now. It ends in 6 days, and these will be in the newsletter this week. As well as this is a Kangxi bottle bladder form vase. The description describes the mouth as having been ground up here, and I looked at it pretty carefully. I don't think it was so much. I don't think they said reduced. I think it was actually reduced because there's the top ring. I think it probably had a fair bit of fritting, and they just polished it down to remove the fritting, which a lot of collectors find unattractive. It has a nick in the foot, but that's a nice old one. It's a good old bottle, and it's up to $59. We'll see where that goes. And then there's this bowl, 18th century blue and white bowl, nicely done, very well-known style. They did these in the Ming Dynasty in particular, and right now it's got no bids. It just went up, and we'll see how it does. The seller has it up as a Kangxi piece. He's probably right. And then this is if you like scholar stuff, this is sort of cool. It's a really nice piece of Lychee Fungus. Nice big piece, okay, and nice patina, nice surface on it, very pretty, and it's of a decent size, 40 centimeters, okay, in width, which is about 15 inches or so, 16 inches in width. Rather nice piece of it right there. If you collect scholar stuff, that may be something to follow. All right, and then this is a really amazing carved mirror on a mirror stand for a lady's dressing table, but beautiful quality, really great quality, and It's Chinese, probably made around 1900. I agree with that. Here's a good-looking shot of it with an eagle at the top and a Chinese figure. Nice hardwood carving, and that just went up as well. It's got no bids yet. We'll see where that goes. That's probably a $600 to $800 mirror pretty easily. It should be. All right, we'll see how that does. And then this Famille Rose plate, nice looking plate, bright yellow. I like the yellow on this. Very nice Yongchen period, but beautifully done. I think it has a couple of little nicks on the rim or something, from what I recall. But a nice scene, a well-known pattern, and we'll see how that does. But quite attractive. Okay, so it would seem Catawiki is sort of catching up. eBay, for some reason, keeps messing around with their website and have made it increasingly hard to find things. Some of you have noticed that you can no longer, for example, if a seller has something up on eBay currently and you want to go see or contact them for some reason, if you contact them and they don't have any current listings, they do not show up in the search results by dealer. They have to have something listed in order to show up. Why eBay did that, I'll have no idea. And they've done some other stupid things lately that I won't get into here, but hopefully they'll straighten out themselves, because they seem to be making changes for the sake of making changes, okay? But thanks so much for watching, and have a fabulous weekend, and I hope you find something you love out there, and enjoy the beautiful warm weather we've been having, certainly here in New England. And give us a thumbs up. We can always use it here. And subscribe to us on YouTube, and come over to Bidamount.com and sign up for the newsletter, and do all that good stuff, okay? And check the Catawiki page. We'll be adding to it. I emailed them some questions this week about adding other countries, and I hope to hear back from them, and about what they're doing to increase the number of listings on the site so we can get it right up there. And if you're an eBay seller of Chinese stuff, you might consider giving them a try with some pieces to see if you could build up a little bit of a following over there. I think they're going to keep pushing, and it's always good to get in with them early on these things, okay? Thanks so much for watching, and have a wonderful weekend. See you next week. Bye-bye.